Well, good evening and many thanks for joining us here on TV47 Weekend. My name is Musa Salah. We have a lot lined up for you, but first, let's take a look at the top stories making headlines tonight. Tonight, political leaders led by former Machakos Senator Johnston Muthama denied access at Gigiri Police Station, where they had gone to visit former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko. Also tonight, ODM leader Raila Odinga takes the BBI rally to Turkana County as his political nemesis Deputy President William Ruto tells him off in his coastal tour rallies. Plus, Siaya County fishermen and fishmongers thrown into confusion following the mysterious death of Nile perch in their thousands in Lake Victoria. And a physically challenged man who was run over by vehicles belonging to a senior politician laid to rest at his Nyeri home, even as the said politician remains a riddle to the police. Now, welcome to the broadcast. Ann Wairimu is our sign language interpreter. TV47 Weekend begins right now. ODM leader Raila Odinga has drummed up support for the BBI report in Turkana County, where he is camping for 3 days, urging the residents to support the BBI legislative bill. Raila and the BBI have, however, chided the hustler narrative, saying it cannot benefit the youth as claimed by the Tanga faction.
Speaking at a political meeting held at Moi Stadium in Lodwar, Turkana County, ODM boss Raila Odinga and proponents of BBI made a clarion call to the residents of Turkana County to support the BBI Constitutional Amendment Bill 2020, which will be more beneficial to the pastoralist community.
Serikali haiwezi kuajiri vijana wote hapa. Sasa tumeweka kitu inaitwa Youth Development Fund. Pesa ambayo inakuwa ni hazina ambayo vijana watakwenda pale wanaazima pesa huko, wanaanzisha nao biashara yao na hawalipi riba mpaka miaka 7, interest free loan ambayo vijana watakuwa wanapata hapo ili vijana waweze kuanzisha biashara yao.
Raila assuring residents of Turkana that peace will be a priority in the area as the government is going to beef up security to ensure the bandits in the area are dealt with. The leaders said the BBI is targeting the youth and women in empowering them for a better future.
Leo tumekuja tuwaone watu wa Turkana na hii mambo ya BBI kwa watu wa Turkana. Katika kaunti ya Turkana pesa itaongezwa kutoka 15% kwenda mpaka 35%. Inamaanisha ya kwamba kama hatuna barabara ama pesa zikuwa zinatosha ya kujenga barabara, mabarabara zitajengwa, mashule zitajengwa, mahospitali zitajengwa, vijana wetu watapata kazi, na vijana wetu wa university pia watapewa muda ya kulipa help.
Nataka niwaambie siri ya BBI. Leo BBI imezungumzia kila ward itakuwa inapata 5% ambayo inatoka kule treasury inakuja kwa ward inafanya miradi. Huyu mheshimiwa MCA wenu hapa hata kuwa na haja ati saizi kama sasa ati aenda bembelezane na Nanok ati Nanok nipatie miradi kwa wadi yangu ati Nanok sijui nini. Pesa itakuwa inaingia nywe katika hiyo ward.
However, the leaders chided the hustler politics driven by Deputy President William Ruto and his allies, which they say won't help the youth and more so elites who need more working systems than wheelbarrows.
Walisema tutazalisha kazi milioni 1 kila mwaka. Milioni 1 kila mwaka. Kazi ya kisasa, sio kazi ya wheelbarrow. Hiyo kazi mmeona hapa Turkana? Mmeona? Amesahau sasa yeye ni kama ngiri. Anasahau kama ngiri, anasahau ati aliahidi modern jobs 1 million kila mwaka.
Jana nilisikia akiwa huko Kilifi County. Anasema baba ndio ameharibu Jubilee. Mimi nauliza yeye, William Ruto, Kama kuna mtu ambaye ameharibu chama ya Jubilee ni mtu ambaye anaitwa William Ruto. Mkubwa yako President Uhuru anafanya kazi, wewe unaendelea kukampeni kuanzia 2013 mpaka saa hii kutafuta political power ambaye haijulikani anatafuta wapi, kwa sababu anatafuta kama kichaa. Green.
Na huko wakati wa 22, wakati ikifika, hapana sasa. Tumesema hivi, Wakikuyu wamekuwa president miaka 35. Wakale miaka 24. Wakati wetu umekwisha wa kiti ya rais. Sasa tunataka mtu kama mjumbe wenyu Jeremia hawezi kuwa president wa nchi ya Kenya.
Sasa mtu akikuja hapa aseme uchague BBI ama uchague Wilbaro, utachagua nini? Uchague BBI ama uchague Wilbaro, utachagua nini? Sema na mimi, hatutaki Wilbaro, tunataka hatutaki Wilbaro, tunataka.
Saturday, the ODM boss is expected to tour Turkana East and Kakuma area ahead of Sunday's meetings, where he is also expected to attend a mass at the Catholic Church in Lodwar town. Elizabeth Mutuku, TV47 Nairobi.
Deputy President William Ruto has warned leaders joining the government in search of endorsements ahead of next year's general elections, noting that their scheme will not sail through. Ruto, who was accompanied by legislators allied to his Tanga faction, spoke in Kisauni, Mombasa County, as his tour in the coastal region enters its second day. David Mudhoka has the details.
In what seemed as a direct attack at ODM party leader Raila Odinga, Deputy President William Ruto has fired a warning shot at leaders joining the government in anticipation of endorsements ahead of next year's general elections, insisting they are in for a rude shock. Speaking at Kisauni, Mombasa County, as his 5-day tour of the coastal region entered its second day, Ruto has said that such a scheme will not bear fruits, adding that Kenya is past the politics of endorsements.
Hadi sasa hawana mpango. Ati mpango kubwa wanangojea ati ni endorsement ya rais. Sasa nyinyi watu wa upinzani mnangojea endorsement ya rais, na sisi ndio tulimchukua Uhuru Kenyatta.
Watu wote wanaongojea endorsement ya Uhuru Kenyatta. Si Mudavadi anaongojea endorsement ya Uhuru Kenyatta. Sijui Kalonzo anaongojea endorsement ya Uhuru Kenyatta. Sijui Raila anaongojea endorsement ya Uhuru Kenyatta. Lakini Wakenya wamemendorse William Ruto kuwa rais wa 5 wa Jamhuri ya Kenya.
The second in command father told of leaders, claiming that the hustler and wheelbarrow narrative was meant to pit economic classes against each other, accusing them of operating double standards after having masterminded the split within the Jubilee party. Ruto had earlier toured Watamu and Kilifi towns, where he furthered his hustler narrative to residents.
Zamani mjadala ilikuwa ni viongozi, ilikuwa ni mamlaka, ilikuwa ni vyeo. Leo mjadala ni uchumi, mjadala ni biashara, mjadala ni nafasi za kazi kwa watu wa chini, mjadala ni mama mboga na mtu wa mkokoteni na mtu wa bodaboda.
Leaders who had accompanied the deputy president also expressed confidence in Ruto's 2022 candidature, urging their constituents in the Odinga stronghold to jump ship and join the winning team.
Raisi anayekuja Kenya nzima watu wanajua ni nani. Ni nani? Ni nani? Maana jana nilisema mwanamume ni kujituma. Mwanamume toka nje uombe. Uwaoneshe kwamba wewe uko tayari na hii kazi wananchi wakikupa.
Katika wawili hawa kwenye race, Ruto tayari tunamjua, tunamtambua. Kwa hivyo 2022 naibu wa rais utakuwa rais. Ile operation port yetu iregee pale pale.
Wajua miaka 3, 4, 5 iliyopita naibu wa rais ilikuwa hapa Kilifi, siasa ilikuwa moja peke yake.
na mazungumzo. Ukiingia baa, ukiingia mangweni, hospitali, ukiingia kila mahali, mazungumzo ilikuwa ni chungwa peke yake. Si namna hiyo? Lakini sasa the narrative has changed.
Ruto is expected to pitch camp in the coastal region for the next 3 days, where he is also assessing government projects. David Mudhoka, TV47.
Now, ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi has refuted claims that is being fronted by a section of leaders allied to President Uhuru Kenyatta as his favorite successor come 2022. Mudavadi says he will from the voters, and his 2022 presidential bid is not pegged on any endorsement from someone. Mudavadi, who was accompanied by Koto Secretary General Francis Atwoli, was speaking in Kivagala, Maragoli North in Vihiga County during the burial of the late Mzee Francis Chogo, a former mayor in the defunct Vihiga Municipal Council, where he reiterated the need for Kenyans to interrogate the leaders they want to vote in office before casting a single vote for them in 2022.
State House inatafutia Musalia kitu. Msibelieve in hiyo. Musalia is capable, can fight on his own. Hiyo ni propaganda. Wakifika kwa Gideon wanamwambia State House inaunga wewe mkono. Wakifika kwa Raila wanamwambia State House inaunga wewe mkono. Wakiona kijana yetu Matiang'i wanamwambia State House inaunga wewe mkono. Hiyo ni propaganda. Kiti Musalia is capable, akiwa na sera zake anaweza uza na kuwa president. He doesn't need the help of anybody else. Na pia tukitaka kusaidia Musalia ni lazima tumpe nafasi ya kunegotiate na wengine. Kunegotiate na Kalonzo Musyoka, kunegotiate na Joe kule Mombasa, ama yeyote rafiki yake kule ANC na mbunge huko. Kunegotiate na wale wengine ambao wa nje ya Luhyaland ambayo ni vigogo katika area zao.
Ndio mimi naunga Francis Atwoli mkono. Anasema na amesema kwamba tusingojee ati mtu atatupatia cheo. Tutoke. Tuchukue kura. Wale ambao hawajachukua vipande waende wachukue vipande, wafanye registration. Kwa sababu tunataka numbers. Mimi sitafuti kupewa. Ile password Atwoli alikuwa akizungumza akisema tafuta password. Ukitaka kupata kuwa rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya, tafuta password. Mimi nataka niwaambie password ya kuingia kwa kiti cha urais ni kura ya mwananchi kupitia kwa debe. Viongozi wengi wamenena hapa. Na mimi nataka niwaambie Kenya iko kwa hali ya hatari. Kile kitu wanaita transition, kuvuka kutoka kwa rais mmoja na kwenda kwa rais mwingine, ni wakati wa hatari sana katika mataifa kama tusipochunga.
Political leaders who are Tanga supporters and Sonko's allies have been denied a chance to see the besieged former Nairobi County boss Mike Mbuvi Sonko, who is being held at Gigiri Police Station. The leaders who had gone to visit Sonko have confirmed that only close family members, lawyers and Sonko's doctor are allowed to visit him. Joan Maina reports.
The ex-Nairobi County Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko, who is being held custody at Gigiri Police Station, can only be visited by his nuclear family, his lawyers and doctors.
And the information that we have been given is that it is only members of the nuclear family who are supposed to see him. That means his wife and children. The second tier that is allowed to see him is his doctor, and the third one is a lawyer or his counsels.
UDA party chairman Johnson Muthama, who was among political leaders who are present at Gigiri Police Station, has called out on leaders who are associating Sonko's arrest to his political relation with the president.
I don't think Sonko is here because it's the president who said bring him here, because he has no capacity to order for anybody to be arrested.
Muthama has, however, termed Sonko's arrest unlawful if indeed it is politically driven. Kirinyaga woman representative Wangui Ngirishe echoed Muthama's words, adding that justice should prevail for Sonko. Narok Senator Ledama Olekina was also present at Gigiri Police Station.
Above all, I think the law and justice for Sonko should come to pass, and I hope that our courts and our systems, the political class, will not use the courts to get what they want to get.
The subdued ex-county boss, who has been shuffling between police cells and courtrooms, will spend the next 4 days in police custody until 9th of February, when he will be presented at Kiambu Law Courts at 11 a.m. for his bail ruling for assault among other charges. He will later in the afternoon be arraigned at Kahawa Law Courts for the hearing of his terror-related charges. The defense, Sonko's lawyer, was given up to Tuesday next week for the preparation and for them to be able to defend Sonko's case. Joanne Minor, TV 47.
Well, that story on Sonko takes us to a short commercial break, but we'll be back with more. Remember, you can follow this live broadcast on www.tv47.co.ke.
Agriculture being the engine of economic growth in Kenya, Richer Fields aims to educate, entertain, and take you round the world of rich fields when it comes to matters agriculture and agribusiness.
It's 800 shillings per kg. Where? Almost 100% profit.
We take you to the world of organic living.
Some people say organic is boring. It's actually not boring.
Strawberry farming and so much more. Richer Fields coming soon on TV 47. On the grind, we bring you different entrepreneurs who give the story of their businesses with love and passion.
I'm a musician forever. This is something that is inborn.
It excites me each day. It's a field that has always excited me.
Because when you show love to your business, it will show love to you.
The most rewarding bit of being a photographer is seeing a bride able to see her images of her wedding and evoke emotion in her and just relive the moment once again.
Get to hear these stories and so much more every Monday at 7:30 p.m. Pain, discomfort, and sleepless nights. These are just but a few of the things we go through on a daily that deteriorate our health. Body Garage is here to remind you on how to love and care for your body's health.
Finding our balance. Don't worry, you'll finally come back again.
Self-care and love is the best gift you can give. Tune in every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. On Coffee with Movie, we bring you great testimonies from amazing personalities.
Wa kwanza alikaa ndani ilikuwa intense because alikuwa yalikuwa tafuta pesa.
Allegedly ordered not to give the leaders present a chance to address the mourners.
Ulipigiwa simu na kanini keka ukaambiwa tusiende mkutano. Hiyo. Na ndio ukamake sure kwamba hatunamaliza March 20. Tunataka kukuambia hivi fadha. Kama umepromisiwa pesa ya kanisa, usipatiwe against kifo cha mlemavu. Sisi tuko na uchungu sana kusikia magari matatu ya wakubwa wa nchi wenye mapesa wamekuja wameua mlemavu, wanaleta pesa hapa usiku wasionekane ili haki ya mlemavu isipatikane.
Alafu baadaye tunaambiwa ati tusiongee kwa mkutano ili tuulize justice. Kanini keka kura ambao ulipigiwa na kila mtu, na hakuna kura ambayo iko na ulemavu. Na ulichaguliwa nao watu. Sijasikia ukiongea haki ya huyu. Na huyu sio paka, na huyu sio panya.
Nominated Member of Parliament Ole Sankok giving the government a 14-day ultimatum to find and prosecute the politician whose convoy led to Nderitu's tragic death.
Hata rais wetu namwambia nimepatiana ultimatum ya 14 days. Justice ipatikane kwa ndugu yangu Christopher. 14 days. 14 days. Na narudia 14 days. Failure walemavu wote katika nchi ya Kenya. Tutaandamana mpaka State House, mpaka pale popote ambao tutapata haki ya ndugu yetu Christopher.
Ashika ile watu waliua Nderitu. Ndio tujue wewe ni ndume yetu iko ndani ya serikali. Lakini huwezi kaa tu na watu wanamalizwa na unakaa.
It is alleged that Nderitu was on a wheelchair along the Kirinyaga-Nairobi highway last week when a convoy of 3 cars that was allegedly en route to President Uhuru Kenyatta's meeting with Mount Kenya leaders at the Sagana State Lodge ran over him, killing him on the spot. The police have insisted they do not have a report on the incident and therefore do not know to whom the convoy that killed Nderitu belonged. Now, cancer patients are decrying poor state of the health sector that is worsening their already heavy disease burden. And as Zainab Mohammed now reports, the patients who are battling the #1 killer disease in the country want the government to invest in the state-of-the-art equipment in order to avert challenges such as misdiagnosis.
47-year-old Sarah Mudhoni is a woman battling 3 deadly diseases, HIV and AIDS, which she has lived with for 23 years, cancer and now COVID-19. Sarah, however, says she contracted COVID-19 during her regular checkup visits to the hospital.
Cancer started in 2011. And because I'm positive with HIV, this is the 23rd year. Of that, I contracted COVID. It started as a cold. I ignored I thought it would go. Then at some point I lost sense of taste. I couldn't imagine, because I was mostly in the house. I couldn't imagine that I could be having COVID.
Sarah is not the only cancer patient battling with challenges in the country's health sector. 50-year-old Sami Munyao, a malignant melanoma cancer patient, says he underwent a 6-month tuberculosis treatment due to a misdiagnosis.
Sababu kama mimi, hii madawa nilipitia ya TP, nisikuwa na TP. Lakini haikuwa makosa daktari kunipatia. Daktari alikuwa anataka kunisaidia. Makosa ni mashine za kupima kwa haraka ugonjwa patikane ni nini. Ndio tusema haikuwa. Lakini hiyo nikapitia kwa hiyo chungu yote nikavumilia.
On the other hand, Stephen Mudoka from Makueni County says lack of a comprehensive cancer treatment facility drove him bankrupt as he was forced to visit one hospital after another to complete his treatment. The patients are now calling on the government to invest on state-of-the-art equipment for cancer treatment in order to avert such challenges.
Nimeenda hasara kubwa sana, kama vile nimeelezea serikali nikiwaambia kwamba serikali kubwa iingilie kati hiyo ugonjwa wa kansa. Hiyo watu wenye tunakonjeka hiyo ugonjwa muda hausi chochote chake.
Zainab Mohammed, TV47.
Now, thousands of Nile perch fish, commonly known as mbuta, continue to die of suspected possibility of poisoning in Usenge Beach and its environs in Siaya County. The mysterious fish deaths have caused panic among fishermen and the locals. For 10 days now and counting, fishermen have been collecting dead fish floating on Lake Victoria, leading to a glut in the market and creating fear and anxiety among consumers.
They are dying in their thousands, throwing fishermen, fishmongers and their customers into panic and confusion. The Kenya Marine and Fisheries Research Institute has ruled out poisoning as the cause of the deaths of thousands of Nile perch fish reported in Lake Victoria for over 10 days now.
Kitu ya kwanza sisi kama Kemfree tumeangalia kwamba hizi samaki haziko contaminated, kwa hazina zile contamination yote. Kitu ya kwanza. Kitu ya pili, tuliona kwamba tulitoa uwezekano wa kuwa poisoned. Ingekuwa poisoned only if pangekuwa mahali pamoja, lakini tunapata kwamba iko kila mahali. Kitu ya kwanza.
According to Kemfree, Nile perch fish which are heavy consumers of oxygen, have been affected by a process called upwelling, in which currents bring deep water which are deoxygenated. Fishermen now want the government to intervene and shield unsuspecting members of the public who might consume the fish.
Kisayansi hata wavuvi wanajua kwamba kabla hujamula samaki lazima uangalie internal organs. Zinaitwa visceral kwa Kiingereza. Hizi internal organs ni intestines, liver na kadhalika.
The Kenya Marine and Fisheries Research Institute is continuing with investigations into the mysterious deaths of fish in Lake Victoria. Fatma Ngwena, TV47.
Education stakeholders in Trans Nzoia County have proposed for the reintroduction of corporal punishment in Kenyan schools. This is due to the rising cases of indiscipline being witnessed where students have been linked to arson and other destructive incidents. Boniface Barasa has the details.
Of late, various schools have hit headlines due to rising cases of arson linked to indiscipline among students, forcing education stakeholders to call for reintroduction of caning of learners as a measure to restore discipline in schools.
Leo hatuna kupika wanafunzi katika shule ama ile vipoko shule vilitolewa, na kumekuwa na review kwamba kule Tanzania Rais Magufuli yeye amesema kwamba kule kwake vipoko vinarejeshwa, lakini Kenya kulingana Children's Act kwamba ukimpika mtoto umemdhulumu. Itabidi kwamba shule zetu ile counseling program iweze kutiliwa mkazo sana ili kwamba wanafunzi ambao ni watundu waweze kuwa cancelled ili waache tabia zao za kitundu.
At the same time, the education stakeholders are pushing for review of education policies in order to enhance students' discipline. Dixon Jayoga is a counseling psychologist.
Ile Basic Education Act ya 2013, the government needs to revisit. Let it be revisited so that tuhakikisha kwamba watoto wetu their well-being and welfare kwa shule wakiwa shuleni inaangaliwa kwa kinidhamu. And as a proposal, nilikuwa ninaomba ya kwamba let it not be business as usual.
Religious leaders have also been challenged to play an active role in changing students' behavior as a societal problem.
We've had children actually murdering their own parents, sisters and brothers. So what are we? Na makanisa zinafanya nini? Makanisa, that's where supposed to help. Na nimesema, suggest ya kwamba maybe baada ibada, kwa hiyo kanisa yote baada ibada tuwe nafasi watu wa makanisa, pastors and priests, what have you, have enough time to talk to our children, because that's where the problem is.
This is coming less than 24 hours after one dormitory in Goseta Boys High School was burnt down yesterday night.
119 beds zimeungua, migodoro, boxes zilikuwa na vitabu, textbooks, exercise books, uniform, viatu, kila kitu yenye watoto wanatumia kwa shule.
A similar incident was aborted in another school in the same area where the main suspect, a student, was arrested and arraigned in court for attempted arson. Boniface Barasa, TV47, Trans Nzoia County.
Following an order by President Uhuru Kenyatta that all young mothers who dropped out of school to go back, a school based in Mount Kenya has picked up the directive and offers the teenage mothers willing to resume classes a second chance. And just as the name suggests, Serene Haven Secondary provides exactly that, a safe haven for the once rejected girls to concentrate on their studies. Here is that story.
For 19-year-old mother Josephine Wanjiru, who has been out of school ever since getting pregnant 2 years ago, a new school may enable her to achieve her dream of becoming a nurse, something she'd all but given up on. Josephine and her 17-month-old child are among 17 teenage mothers and pregnant girls at Serene Haven Secondary, a school nestled into a hill below cloud-ringed Mount Kenya. Usually, these girls would have been forced out of school, but now are getting a second chance.
That's my aunt, the one who paid the school fees, called me. It was on December, and she asked me, Josephine, what do you think about your life? And if you can get another chance, can you go back to school? I said yes, I can go back to school.
In a normal year, stigma, logistics and money compel around 13,000 pregnant girls to drop out of school, according to government data. That is likely to spike this year. Lockdowns to curb the spread of COVID-19 shuttered schools and fueled an increase in adolescent pregnancies and sexual abuse. President Uhuru Kenyatta ordered an investigation into the issue in July 2020, but complete data is not yet available because national statistics on births lag by several months. Elizabeth Wanjiru Muriuki, an animated former social worker, founded the judgment-free boarding school that includes daycare and counseling services. Serene Haven opened in January 2021 when schools reopened following the 9-month-long lockdown.
We only have 3 babies who are over 1 year old. The rest of the babies and the pregnant girls, it all happened during the COVID time. So out of the 17, you see 14 girls got pregnant during COVID period.
Murioki herself, a former teen mom who finished school and built a career, is an inspiration to the students.
You know, there are some who come and they are really downcast. They feel like this is the end of the world. So I first start with giving them my story. Some of them have even met my son, the boy I had in my teenage. So they are really encouraged. They are like, if you could do it, we can also do it.
And with that, hope for a better tomorrow is achieved.
Now, did you know that the world's biggest shark is found in the Indian Ocean along the coastal line of Mombasa County? Also, did you know that despite its humongous size, the shark nicknamed Papa Shilingi is almost harmless to humans? Maria Macharo has the story of the gentle giant of the ocean. Take a look.
Kenya is an award-winning tourist destination with over 10 medals on her neck. Most of these awards are attributed to Kenya's rich culture and the diverse wildlife, including the magnificent Big Five. You're assured of catching a glimpse of the African giants in Kenya. Kenya also prides in one of the world's best beaches along the coastal counties of Lamu, Mombasa, and Kwale. But did you know that right here in Kenya is home to the largest animal in the ocean? Yes, you heard it right. The largest animal in the oceans exists right in the Indian Ocean coast of Mombasa. Famously known as Papa Shilingi, this shark, despite the scare provoked by its size, is the gentlest of animals in the ocean. The founder of the Whale Shark Trust, Volker Bassen, calls it the gentle giant of the ocean. Despite popular belief that sharks are harmful to humans, Volker says that the opposite is true. Humans pose a greater threat to sharks. Not just the whale sharks, but all shark species.
We have lost 97% of the global shark population worldwide due to the shark finning tragedy that is taking place. And the local fishermen use something called sifa, which is shark liver oil, to impregnate the wooden boats and protect them against shipworm, which otherwise would eat up the wood. And they run out of normal sharks. We don't catch any sharks anymore because they're finished. And now they figured out that they can use the liver of the whale shark.
Volker Bassen explains that President Uhuru Kenyatta signed a bill to protect the whale shark under the wildlife heritage. However, locals know very little about the benefits and the hazards they pose to the animal, something Volker says needs to change.
The whale shark now on the new wildlife bill, which Uhuru signed on Christmas in 2015, and it has the same protection as the elephant, but the locals don't know about that. One was recently just killed in Mombasa. I got a report of 2 killed in Lamu just recently. It's no reinforcement from KWS, and then we need to change that. We need to educate the fishermen that these incredible animals, they need to be left alone, because they're also very, very slow in reproducing.
His trust involves a number of departments, and given the arduous task at hand, he needs sophisticated tools. One such tool is the microlight aircraft. which he says is much better in tracking and studying the whale shark from the air instead of using a boat.
If you go out looking for a whale shark in a boat, it's like looking for a needle in a haystack. The ocean is big. But by having eyes in the sky, we are able to locate them, and then the pilots and the spotter guide the boat to where the whale shark is. And in fact, from the moment that the pilot or the spotter sees a whale shark to the moment when we reach it and interact with it in the water, we have a 95% success rate.
He teams up with Dean Magets, a microlight flight instructor from South Africa, currently here to help in conserving the whale shark species and educate the locals on its benefits. He is also training the first female microlight pilot in Kenya, Maseka Githinji, a lawyer and pilot to fly the Sea Air Rolls-Royce during the adventures with the whale shark.
Got me here looking, basically, the primary job is to find the whale sharks and other life from the air. Because from up there, the visibility is so much better and you can see so much further. So that's my primary role here. My secondary role is to actually train Maseka to fly a microlight.
Maseka gives us a sneak peek into what microlight flying is about.
Flying the microlight is very different from flying a fixed wing, because with a fixed wing, you're in a cabin and you can make certain movements, and the aircraft would not necessarily react. With a microlight, every single thing you do from your hands to your feet will affect how it will move, because it's all weight shift and dependent on what you're doing. So the experience I'm gaining flying this microlight, I believe it's immense, and I would recommend it to anybody who just wants to do it for fun and who actually wants to better their skill as a pilot, because landing on the beach and taking off or anywhere it's amazing, and it requires much concentration and focus on what you're doing. So
conserving the underwater whale shark requires capturing its lifestyle on video, documenting underwater and long hours at sea, swimming and studying the gentle giant. A job Steve Capone, who's been in the country for over 15 years, knows very well. Capone is an underwater videographer.
My main role has been to film and document the whole evolution and the activities of the project. And along the way, it has also evolved into, as technology and research methods evolved, to be able to photograph whale sharks so that we could identify them and put them in different databases.
He further regrets that Kenya has for long overlooked the resource the ocean provides, and that it's now time to change the norm and embrace conservation, both on land and in the ocean.
Well, I think something that's overlooked in Kenya is the marine resources that we have right at our doorstep. Everyone's focused on safaris and that whole experience, which is great. I've been on hundreds of safaris myself. I love it. But we also have a resource that should be utilized here in the ocean, on the coast of Kenya. And it should be valued as much as the terrestrial safari type of deal. We have whale sharks 3 or 4 months of a year as they migrate through here. And it is considered one of the most thrilling and exciting wildlife experiences to swim with the largest fish in the ocean, which you can't go walk with an elephant. You can't get, so it's a very unique experience, and Kenya should embrace it. The local people who fish around here or make their livelihood out of the sea, they need to realize that, the small fish that they're taking from the ocean, which you can't eat a tiny fish. It's why are they taking it? That destroys the food chain and the environment. There ought to be strict, more enforced laws of fishing so that this resource doesn't disappear.
But the question begs, why all this effort for a country whose tourism sector is limping?
First, by adding one to our big five, the biggest of them all, which we actually have here, the whale shark. So that's one thing we could boost, that we have the big six. And worldwide, if you look, the whale shark tourism is booming. To give you an idea, Holbox in Mexico, they started their whale shark initiative in 2005. They generated $240,000 in the 3-month season that they had. When I visited in 2007, they generated $12.8 million in tourism revenue. Tourists coming there just to swim with these magnificent animals. Yes, so it is a game changer. If you offer this, even if you look at the Philippines, Cebu, just a fishing village that used to kill 100 whale sharks a year, stopped killing them and started feeding them, and tourists came there to swim with the whale sharks. Now it's one of the richest counties in the Philippines. Universities and everything has been built of the money generated from the whale shark tourism. And that would be my vision for Kenya as well.
A vision much needed to awaken the tourism sector at the coast, and one we should all share. As the tourism sector looks to redesign and tap higher projections this year, it's important to consider swimming with the big sixth right here in the Indian Ocean, the whale shark. Mariam Wacharo, TV47, Kwale County.
Well, thank you so much, Mwacharo, for that interesting report. It's now time to take another short break, but we'll be back with more. Stay tuned.
Agriculture being the engine of economic growth in Kenya. Richer Fields aims to educate, entertain, and take you round the world of rich fields when it comes to matters agriculture and agribusiness.
It's 800 shillings per kg. Where? Almost 100% profit.
We take you to the world of organic living.
Some people say organic is boring. It's actually not boring.
Strawberry farming and so much more. Richer Fields coming soon on TV47. On the Grind, we bring you different entrepreneurs who give the story of their businesses with love and passion.
I'm a musician forever. This is something that is inborn.
It excites me each day. It's a field that has always excited me.
Because when you show love to your business, it will show love to you.
The most rewarding bit of being a photographer is seeing a bride able to see her images of her wedding and evoke emotion in her and just relive the moment once again.
Get to hear these stories and so much more every Monday at 7:30 p.m. Pain, discomfort, and sleepless nights. These are just but a few of the things we go through on a daily that deteriorate our health. Body Garage is here to remind you on how to love and care for your body's health.
Finding our balance. Don't worry, you'll finally come back again.
Self-care and love is the best gift you can give. Tune in every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. On Coffee with Movie, we bring you great testimonies from amazing personalities.
Mwanzo wa kwanza alikaa ndani ilikuwa intense because alikuwa alikuwa atafuta place atawaka afanye thesis zake.
Stories that will inspire and encourage you.
Hiyo kitu ilisha wasoni clap. Sheila told us
they paid all their proceeds made from the tea sales less operational costs. At the same time, one of its subsidiaries, Greenland Feather Limited, has donated hygiene and sanitization equipment worth 13 million shillings to smallholder tea farmers in Nyamira and Kisii counties. Ruth Mulandi reports.
In their statement, KTDA sought transparency in the financial running of their 8 subsidiaries and the overall benefit to smallholder tea farmers. The statement further reads, and I quote, "No farmer's money was or has been used to set up the subsidiary companies. The companies are set up using external funds from local and international financial institutions, as farmers are paid all the proceeds made from the tea sales less operating costs." End quote. KTDA Holdings last year declared a dividend of 734 million shillings for the financial year 2019-2020, an increment of 15% compared to the financial year 2018-2019, where the company paid 683 million shillings to the farmers through their respective factories. And it is through these numbers that at least 118,000 smallholder tea farmers in Nyamira and Kisii counties are beneficiaries of a donation from KTDA subsidiary Greenland Feather Limited. The farmers received hygiene and sanitization equipment that will see them protect themselves against the spread of the COVID-19 virus.
The objective is to be able to create awareness about COVID-19 and also sensitize farmers about their adherence to the COVID-19 protocols. We are also trying to ensure there is safety for the farmers and they are complying with COVID even as they continue to pluck their tea.
The donation, which comprised of face masks, hand washing stations and training on how to manufacture the same, cost 13 million shillings. The money by Greenland Feather will now see the farmers in full compliance with the Ministry of Health guidelines in dealing with the spread of the virus.
We have around 150 collection centers. So at least, if possible, you add more so that at least every buying center can have its own sanitation formula.
Nimefurahi kwa kuwa na hizi mmetuletea. Maana tukitoka shamba natoka tukiwa na jasho. Sasa tutasafisha mikono alafu tuanze kupima chai.
The program is set to run for 6 months. Ruth Mulandi, TV47.
Tea farmers in Nandi County have rejected tea regulations, demanding that some of the clauses in the Tea Act of 2020 must be amended. The farmers said that although changes in the tea sector are necessary, some of the clauses need to be amended so that all tea farmers can be in agreement. And in Uasin Gishu County, Governor Jackson Mandago has led a livestock auction in Uasin Gishu that brought to visibility the need for farmers to nurture improved breeds of animals.
Speaking at Kapsabet during a public participation forum, tea farmers in Nandi County called on the government to allow stakeholders more time to scrutinize the regulations.
Hatukubali chai yote iwende one auction in Mombasa. Yes, tupate direct sales ingine kiasi percentage nyingine na ingine iende Mombasa kama ilivyokuwa hapo awali.
Elections sisi wenyewe tutasupervise elections na tag nomination ya kutoka kwa serikali sisi wenyewe tutanominate.
They argue that sections of the Tea Act would have a negative impact on other players in the sector, particularly plantations, which have existing contracts for direct sales with overseas buyers.
The farmers have supported some of the clauses of the Tea Act, like the creation of Tea Board of Kenya and the Tea Research Foundation.
The farmers mandated their directors to join the 53 tea factory companies that are enjoined in the suit challenging the Tea Act. They, however, supported the creation of the Tea Board of Kenya and establishment of a Tea Research Foundation. And in Uasin Gishu County, the annual livestock auction at Chebororwa Agricultural Center attracted farmers from within and without Uasin Gishu.
The purpose of this auction mainly is actually to sell to farmers quality breeds of livestock for purposes of them improving their breeds.
Farmers scrambled for the livestock available with a focus on the best breeds which guarantee higher yields. Participants at the auction, led by Governor Jackson Mandago, say the price differences fetched by different livestock has served them a wake-up call on the need for more focus on improved breeds.
What has surprised me apparently in this auction is the number of women who are here to buy the milk goats, the token pack. And I was so shocked to learn that a liter of goat milk is actually going for 40 bob.
Managos said the auction is a key pillar of the county's agricultural economy. Calvin Chitwa, TV47, Uasin Gishu County.
Well, it is time to take a look at what is happening in the world of sports, and our sportsman, Dennis Otieno, is on standby on the other side of the studio. Good evening, Dennis. What do you have for us this evening?
Well, good evening to you too, Musa Salah. Tonight, we have a lot that is lined up for you in the world of sports. We shall be telling you about the preliminary squad selected by Jacob Ghost Mulei that will represent the country in the upcoming 2022 AFCON competition. We shall also be telling you about results registered in the FKF Round 11 Premier League and what to expect in the same competition when the Mashemeji Derby gets played this coming Sunday at the Kasarani Stadium. Now, this and more coming up in just a bit. A very warm welcome to Primetime Sports. My name is Dennis Otieno, and on to the top story in sports. Harambee Stars head coach Jacob Ghost Mulei has called up 28 local-based players for non-residential training ahead of the upcoming 2022 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. The AFC Leopards duo of Elvis Rupia and Collins Shichenje, Wazito midfielder Kevin Kimani, KCB goalkeeper Joseph Okoth, and Tusker forward Henry Major are some of the names that made the cut for the training that kicks off on Monday in Nairobi. Now, Kenya is scheduled to play Egypt on March 22nd at the Kasarani before flying to Togo for the final group game on March 30th. Stars are in danger of missing out on the continental showpiece after registering 0 wins in all the 4 group matches played, now lying a distant third with 3 points as Egypt and Comoros lead Group G standings with 8 points each.
The team that is going to go into residential training, non-residential actually, because we want to meet the players at least twice a week, leading to our game against Egypt and Togo. We have